Welcome, 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 guys. Episode 31 of the Light Warriors Unleashed podcast. This experience I'm about to walk you through is my first ever plant medicine ayahuasca experience. And I'm walking you through the rawness of the details of what happened to me literally 36 hours ago. So I dropped into ceremony around 10 p.m. on Saturday night. Today, right now, it's like 8 a.m. on Monday. So it's been literally 36 hours since I started this experience, moved through it. And it's been literally, I got home 24 hours ago from this whole thing. So I walk you through the gritty details. I tell you about what showed up for me, the calling out of this purity in my light, how I said I would never do it again, and what moved and changed in me to move this through. And I leave you literally at the end of this episode with a question right there. I don't even tie it together. I don't even come out. I go boom, end. And then we'll go into the outro at the end. So I just want you to feel this in your heart. And where in your life do you maybe need to make a new choice? Or where in your life do you need to go in deeper and darker into you to find the answers that you seek? Because through this experience, you're going to take something from it. I know you will, because there is something here why I was being called to move this through. So like every single time I say this to you guys, if you feel this, share it out. Share it with a friend, share it out on your socials, tag me. I want to hear that you're listening. I want to hear and feel you in this. If something drops into your awareness as you move through this, please let me know, because literally this is what lights me up. The work I do within obviously is one of the key factors, but the work I get to do and the impacts I get to make in the world is also one. So know that I desire this. I want to hear from you. I want to feel this from you. I am all in. So with no further ado, my first ayahuasca experience, plant medicine, journey into the fucking darkness, all of the juiciness is all yours. Take a listen. This is going to be fun. All right, guys, for those of you that don't know, some of you do, and you are prompted and ready for this conversation. Others of you have no idea what's about to happen. But I just finished literally Saturday night, moving all the way into Sunday morning, a plant medicine ayahuasca experience. And there's so much potency that I've learned about myself through this last, I don't even know, 36-hour time span since the time it's Monday morning for me. This podcast launches tomorrow. So through the time span of just this evolution that I've been through, that I'm feeling so called to share. And I'm feeling called to share it in a way of what's showing up for me now, what I remember showing up for me during the ceremony, because there's a raw vulnerability to this. And I choose to step into this space right now to share it because I know there's going to be more to process. I know there's going to be more learning showing up. Like literally they're dropping in like hotcakes this morning, even last night in my dreams, when I slept yesterday during the day after the ceremony. So much is moving through. So I know that there is going to be more to this. There's going to be more meat to this, more evolution to this. But there's something in this rawness that is calling me forward today to share this with you in the purity of its light. Now, I need you guys to really understand that I'm about to call myself out on a whole bunch of shit. My body's in goosebumps. The person that I didn't know I was. And although now thinking about it, I can see reference points of this. I didn't know that this was a storyline moving through my field. I didn't know that I held this vibration in my life. And I talked a little bit about the Bree experience with the Bree tribe here in Costa Rica. I don't know, I think it was the last podcast that I did. And when the elder said to me about letting go the shadow in me, I didn't understand at the time what that really meant. I did understand, but I didn't understand until I went through this experience and I went, holy fucking shit. And I started seeing all these things, all these ways. And I went, oh, now I get and understand what he means and what he meant by this and how this is showing up in my world. So I can't wait to share this with you. And I titled this podcast literally on purpose in this energy of one choice can change your life, because I really need you to understand this. I did not know what ayahuasca was in the purity of its form before dropping into the ceremony. Okay, meaning I didn't go do research. I didn't ask a lot of questions. The people that I knew that had done this plant medicine or that I'd follow on Instagram and mentorship always said it was this beautiful experience. So I thought I was dropping into this beautiful experience that I would go in to connect with my higher self, to like, I said to the girls that picked me up before we went there, who drove me, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to connect with my grandmother and my great grandfather, and we're going to have this beautiful experience together, and we're going to move through this. None of that fucking happened. Okay. So I didn't realize going in, and now I would have went anyways. Okay. But I really need you to feel this and understand this. When I was called to ayahuasca, I didn't go do the research. I didn't go look into things. I felt the call. One of the people that serves me in my health, who was at my house that day, has done multiple of these experiences. And she said, I think there's one happening next weekend. And I said, can you give me the details? And it was being led by this beautiful tribe from Brazil that are the protectors of the rainforest in Brazil, the Yawana tribe. And their chief was coming down with their family to lead this ceremony. Guys, I have no reference point to any of this. And once we were done the ceremony yesterday, people were coming up to me and they were like, you chose the exact perfect one to come to for your first experience. They're not all like this. They're not all in this celebratory energy. Like, we like fucking rocked it. And I'm going to tell you the details of this after, as we move through this. But it was like, I couldn't have made this stuff up. Okay. Like, the way I got led, how I made a choice. So I chose to call this episode One Choice Can Change Your Life, like a plant medicine experience. And I want you to feel this and really understand that one choice can change your life, can change your life on a dime. It can move you through something that you have no idea how or why you're there, why this is showing up, what you're about to go into. And I didn't ask any questions on purpose. And one of the organizers of the event knew it was my first time. She said, let's get on a call this week. And the call never happened. So I didn't have a reference point. Like, I really didn't know. I thought we're going into ceremony. I thought, I don't know what that means. I knew music was happening in it. I have no fucking idea. Okay, guys. So I really need you to understand, no fucking idea about what this was going to, like, what this was, what was going to happen, how we move through this. But I knew I was meant to be there. That's what I knew. So what happened was, the organizer connected me to two girls that were coming from Uvita, where I live, to drive up to the mountain, because we went into like this eco-friendly shala, like resort type place, very much retreat oriented in the jungle. Okay, like we had dry toilets. So it means that, like, and in Canada we call them outhouses, right? That's the mechanism that they move within. We did have running water. We did have a shower if we needed to use it, but we're in the middle of a jungle. Like, literally, when I walked to the bathroom, I had to look on the ground to make sure I didn't step on any toads, because you could hear them dominantly, snakes, like all of that in the darkness. Okay. So I got picked up at 8 p.m. and 8 p.m. Okay. So I had barely had a nap. I can't nap any longer here, which is interesting because I love naps and I love being in naps, but they're just not in my mechanism at all. So coming into this at 8 p.m., I stopped eating maybe around 5. I had my last meal and I got picked up. So the girls had been to an experience a couple days before, and they were telling me a couple things to note. Like, the first people that have never done ayahuasca before will be called up first to take the first ceremonial dose of the medicine. And they were telling me, like, you go up, you take it from the shot, you accept it from the chief's son, and you move it through. I was like, okay, great. And they were telling me a little bit about their experience, and they just said, everyone will be doing anything that they're being called to. We have our own mats, our own spaces, so we can drop into wherever we need to go at certain points. We can dance, we can move, we can explore, we can do whatever. Again, no reference point, right? So I'm like, okay, we drop in, we get ourselves set up, we get ourselves moving. No details were talked about whatsoever at all. None. Okay. There's no protocols, just like, here's the bathrooms. Just don't go too far off the land. Here's your landscapes here. Make sure you stay connected. If you need any help, these are the people here that are going to help you. Okay, that's it. So the chief comes through, the tribe comes in, they're in their spaces here. I know there's going to be musicians coming in. There's a bunch of instruments everywhere. That's all that I know. They give the opening ceremony, they set the tone, they talk about us as a family moving through this experience and this beautiful celebration we're going through, and the work we are about to drop into. Okay, the work, they actually say that, the work. They talk about ayahuasca and the experience of her and bringing her into your life and how she moves within you. There's buckets being moved across the whole entire room. Each person has their own bucket in case you are called to offer, meaning you are called to bring up, throw up in the space of things moving through your body. And I get and understand the dynamic of that now since I've been through that experience, because of the fact that when we are purging toxicity, so when she gets into the root of something to move it out of the body wants to eject it or let it release in other ways. So that was fun. And the girls beside me are like, don't worry about it. Like, you won't even pay attention to half the people. If they're puking, like, you won't even hear it. And I was like, okay, like, no clue, right? No clue. So they go through the stuff. They ask who's been here before, who's never been here before, who's done ayahuasca before. And they said, who is brand new to ayahuasca? So I raised my hand and the chief's son looks at me. I'm the only one in the room that has never done it. So he does this special blessing with me. He talks right to me. The girls beside me were like, we wish we could have taken our phone out to take like a video of this interaction. He's talking to me in Spanish. I don't know what he's saying at all to me, but all I know is my heart is open and I could feel this intense connection with him. Like, it was super aligned, like right in the space. And I go, I have no idea what I'm about to walk into, but I'm about to walk into this. So he calls me forward. They bless all the ayahuasca. They bring forth the energy, protecting the shielded mechanism, and I'm called forward. So my intuition says drop to your knees to accept this gift from him. So I do. I look him in the eyes. I'm right here, done up, right? Everything, feathers in their garbs of ceremony, their beads, it was just beautiful. Their faces are painted. And I am literally like 2 feet away from him. Dropped in. I take the medicine from him. He says something to me. And then I'm like, do I get up? And then he's pouring another one. He's like, and then he like lets me go. And everyone starts laughing because I'm like, I have no reference point, right? I'm this naive girl. Like, I felt like a little girl in this room, in this collective of adults that knew everything. And I was this small little girl in this room looking around, trying to figure out what this was going to be. Now, I can't wait to do this again because now I have a reference point, because I'm going to walk you through some of the dynamics that happened for me in this room. And I feel like that will not happen next time. It was a part of my process to move through this, right? So I go back to my seat and I wait. Everybody goes, everybody does their thing. So now I'm watching, right? People are there, they're holding the medicine, they're setting their intention, they're praying over it. And my intention before I got up there to like do this was whatever needs to move through me, I desire to feel and hear that. That's all. I didn't want to put a mechanism on it. I didn't want to go back into some things. I didn't even want to go, what's the darkness in me? Like, I didn't want to go in any of that. Now, granted, I thought, remember, that I was moving through this beautiful experience of meeting ayahuasca. Some of my friends had seen the jaguar, like they were really in it, and this beautiful, okay, this was what I thought was about to go down. So we have our first dose, and I'm sitting around and nothing is happening. Some people in the room, I'm already hearing some people like start to throw up. We go into moments of silence to start to honor her coming into our world. And I'm like, okay, some of the other people in this room. Now, granted, one of the girls I was with said to me, after, I didn't feel anything until after the second dose. And I went, okay, so I'm not feeling it. Now I'm getting anxious a bit, where I'm like, can we get the second dose? Like, I want to get into this. I want to feel this. So what I've debriefed within myself to realize and look at that was that my level of patience is tried. And when it comes to spiritual evolution and my awakening, I fucking want to press the gas pedal down and move through this faster. I want to get the answers. My whole body's in goosebumps as I say this out loud to you guys. I want to get the answers. I want to move through it. I don't want to do all the work. Can't I just drop in? Now, there's been times in my life where, especially now, where I'm way better at this than I've ever been. Honoring the process, stepping into the space, allowing divine timing to move through me. I'm way better at this. I didn't recognize it in the experience until I came out of it and looked back and I went, wow. So my first dose of ayahuasca was really understanding patience and stepping into the space. And it'd been a few hours, guys, before we did our second dose. And the tribe went into a cappella to start to bring us through. No instruments, a cappella, their voices only. I started singing. I knew some of the songs, which was interesting because I don't know the songs consciously. I've never heard them sing before, okay? Like, ever heard them sing before. I realize now they have albums. I realize now that this is what they do. Like, I literally don't have a reference point. The only thing I know about this tribe is that they're from Brazil and they're the protectors of the Amazon. That's all I know. They protect the jungle. Now I know that ayahuasca is founded from Brazil and moves through this collective of tribes in the energy of their potency. They use this to heal people. They use this to bring this up, to move people through an experience, to be able to get rooted in their healing. Remember, no reference point for this at this moment of time. So I'm trying, quote unquote, to drop in. Now I start to hear some vibrations moving through my body. So I start to hear like the music is in me. I start to feel the noises behind me and no one's behind me. Okay. Like literally, I am parallel with the tribe. So the tribe starts and then there's like two people beside me that play musicians and me. So I am like integrated right at the front of the room with these tribal elders, with these indigenous beautiful souls singing. So I start to feel it through me and I start to feel my body vibrating a bit, but I'm not in anything, right? And in my mind, I imagined it to be something. Now, granted, I don't know that it's a hallucinogenic, and it's not really. When you actually drop into the space, it brings you into a level of truth so you can go deeper into the dynamics of yourself. But I'm in my mind, still in my mind, fighting this. Definitely can't sleep, not feeling tired at all. Like, this is not a sleeping mechanism. Like, you don't sleep here. Well, some people did yesterday. I saw them and felt them sleeping, but there was no way I was going to sleep, no matter how tired I was. I'm starting to feel my stomach grumbling, feeling this transition through me and move through me, but I'm just there. I'm just there. Now, the guy beside me, who was one of the musicians, has no spatial awareness whatsoever at all. We were tight. There's 50 of us, guys, in this experience. 50 of us there. In the room could hold maybe comfortably about 40. So we stacked because we had to be in a circle, right? Because we're in a circle honoring that mechanism, us together. So he made us commit at the beginning that when we dropped in the ceremony, we were in the ceremony for the whole entire time. We committed to, from the time we start to the morning, wherever that leads us into, we were in it. We wouldn't leave the ceremony, meaning we could walk the grounds like to some degree, but we couldn't leave, right? We were all in together as a unit. And so the guy beside me was irking me, okay? Like, he was in my energy all night. So I literally had to like put mirrors up. Like, he was on my mat half the time. Like, I'm on a yoga mat. So imagine, like, you can barely like expand yourself on a yoga mat, right? And so now I'm like, and he's in my space. So I'm like, whatever. So I'm learning patience. I'm learning to get over some of the shit that normally would irritate me, like fucking guys who pay no attention to other people. Irritates the shit out of my field all the time. When I see somebody like literally on someone else, like moving that through and not allowing someone to have their own freedom and not allowing someone to have their own voice and literally like manipulating people, it fucking irritates the shit out of me. So this was happening in real time and I'm realizing that this is happening. So I have an awareness on this one a bit and I'm like, Colleen, let this go. This isn't it. Like, just let it go. Okay. You need to drop into this because my mind is getting fucked up. Right. Because I'm like, where's the spiritual awakening? Where's this experience moving through? How am I showing up in this space now? Why am I not seeing ayahuasca? Where's my grandmother? Where are the things I thought were going to happen? Second ceremony call comes into play. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm going in. And I laugh right now on purpose about what I'm about to tell you about what fucking just went down. So I go and the chief's son looks at me and he smiles and I feel his heart. Like, I feel him. And what dropped into my field today was that him and so he has had multiple lives in this tribe. He has been singing these songs, multiple like millennials in this tribe. So he's had other past lives, but dominantly in this energy of this tribe. One life together we spent as lovers and partners in this tribe, singing these songs to humanity in the world. Whether it was just our collective tribe moving the energy through, or we actually traveled, I feel like we traveled South America together, actually bringing this into the world. And I didn't know this at the time, but I felt that he could see that in me too. Like, he could, once I started actually dancing and exploring, I felt like he could see that in me. And so I go up, I drop in, I've learned from the first ceremony, I honor, I bring her into my heart. I open myself up. I accept her medicine in me, hand it back, smile at him, and I go back to sit down at my space. For some reason, I knew I needed to sit. Okay. I knew I needed to sit. I knew I needed to kind of be in this vibe. They pull out the instruments, they start to play music. And this is tribal, indigenous music. It's got a Latin root. So I could feel the Latin vibe moving through my body. Numerous times throughout this whole experience, it felt like I was back in Spain. I was really inclined to use my skirt when I was dancing. We were in flowing skirts and I felt the vibe. Like my hand was on my skirt a lot, moving energy on my skirt. So I was back in a life where I used to live and breathe in this music. Okay. Second shot comes through, and about half an hour later, I'm fucked. Okay. Like I'm talking, I'm fucked. I am super dizzy. I can barely get into my body. I dropped down to lay down because I need to breathe. And I started breathing, and this energy started moving through me. This sickness came up. All the times where I drank too much alcohol started coming through my body, and I could feel it in my body. I could feel the drunkenness. I could feel the miscommunication with myself. I could feel myself running away from my spiritual work, from who I really was. I could feel the cloud of this alcohol moving through my body. And I was like, I just want to puke. I just want to puke. I just want to puke, but it wouldn't come out. Okay. It wouldn't come out. I'm like, get it out of me. Then we can get ayahuasca out of me. Then I can get through this. It wouldn't come out. Okay. Note number one, on purpose. It wouldn't come out because that was my crutch. That was my, oh my God, let me puke this out so I can move this out of my body and I don't have to deal with this. Okay. I don't have to deal with this. Note number one, when you drop into an ayahuasca ceremony, ayahuasca is going to bring up the shadow in you, the stuff that needs to be healed. I knew this, but didn't know this. Okay. And the potency of its landscape. This was fucked up, guys. Okay. So I'm in this experience and I'm going, what the fuck? These people are saying it was so beautiful. They got to meet, and here I am in the depths of hell. Like I literally feel like I'm in the depths of fucking hell. And I'm going through this like rooted dynamic experience inside of me. I'm going, what the fuck? Why are they playing with jaguars? Where's my grandmother? Where's like, and all the things I thought would happen are not. I'm in this darkness. And then I go into the space of when I let my dog, like I released my dog to a new family before I came to Costa Rica. And most of you guys don't know that. And I'm owning, like, remember, I said to you at the beginning, I'm going to warn you. I am dropping into a space here of raw vulnerability with myself and calling myself out. And some of you guys need to hear this for some reason because it's dropping through in this podcast. I let my dog go to a new family. I had her for 7 years. I got her as a pup at 9 weeks old. Her name was Athena, just letting you know. Whew, I'm about to start to get emotional. And when I knew I was moving to Costa Rica, I knew she wasn't supposed to come with me. Now knowing the landscape here, she probably could have came. She probably could have came. And it probably would have been an amazing thing for her to be here. But she was never a dog with me. She was always a protector. And moving to Costa Rica, I feel like I am protecting my own self now. It's not about someone else protecting me. It's not about needing protection. It's about me taking ownership in this. So I ended up finding a beautiful family. She's with a retired man who loves animals. They call him the dog whisperer. She actually can be a dog there, and she's in the exact spot she needs to be. And I know I talked with her last night because I dropped into her to be like, I haven't thought about you in a while. And ayahuasca brought you up. So there was a moment there I'm bawling my face off in this experience with my dog, understanding the dynamic of that choice that I made. Did I make it in the purity of light at the time? No. I made it in the purity of a selfish decision so that I could move, and didn't understand the commitment she made to me as a soul in this life. And I get it, and I call it out right now in this movement of things. And I get you. I feel you. I understand. After this, I started dropping into other selfish experiences in my life. All the times that I made a decision based in my own wants that were actually in the purity of shadow and not in the purity of light to serve, even though in my mind I thought they were. So many fucked up times I dropped into. I was literally in the depths of this, and the darkness within me. This is what it means by the elder, the darkness within me. All the times that I made this assumption that this was about other people, or all the times that I did an action that I was like, that's for them. All of this stuff. And I was like, fuck, like I was in it. I couldn't get out either, right? I was like, can I just go to sleep? let me go to sleep. Like, I just want to go to sleep. I'm just like, I'm over here. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm just going to go to sleep. No, that wasn't happening. I finally was able to get up and walk. Okay, still fucked, guys. I'm talking about like your body is not in alignment. Like you are like you some like are dizzy sometimes. Like you, and not to say everyone's experience is going to be the same. Okay, this is mine. And ayahuasca works differently for everybody, right? Everybody is different. But here's what I know. I'm pretty sure all the beautiful experience people went through the shadow first to get to the beautiful experience. And maybe they don't want to talk about what they went through in the shadow, like I am verbalizing to you right now about this potency that moved through me. But at the end, that's all they felt was the beautiful experience, which is most likely true because I could say the exact same thing to you guys. It was a beautiful experience. But I really want you to feel and hear this, the fucking work I had to do to get there. Okay. And that's what the representation of all spiritual awakening is. We got to go into the shadow, move the shadow out to actually step into our purity of light and to step in more into our purity of light and move this through into our purity of light. Right. And that's where the work is. And you've heard me talk about this multiple times, but I didn't know that this was what I was stepping into. And I can make any excuse up I want. The naivety, which is what showed up at the beginning. I am a naive little girl in this room looking around, having no clue about what's about to happen. All these people are dancing, they're moving their bodies, they're up celebrating, the music is fucking vibing, and I'm fucking tripping, okay? Like tripping out. I go to walk outside. So at this point in time, my stomach is like going nuts. Like it is like gassy, like I can't move. Like guys, I eat purely here, right? I don't get gas because of the food I eat. I don't get gas in my body. If I get gas, it's because I've eaten something off within my field. I'm fucking gassy and all I want to do is let go. I can't puke, okay? I can't puke and my body will not release any other way. And I've tried. I go to the bathroom and now I'm peeing. Yay, great. I'm peeing, but I can't get it out. Like I'm like, I can't get it out. It won't leave my body. It's a whole other thing. Am I ready to let go? So this is the conversation I'm having with myself at the same time that I'm dropped into this darkness. I walk outside and now I start judging. So now I'm in the lens of judgment. Everything I see, right? These people walking around all fucked up, you know, we're peeing in dry fucking toilets. I'm like, who does this shit? Who pees in dry toilets, right? People just embracing nature and fucking being in flow. And I'm judging the shit out of everybody. And I'm going, okay, now I'm in the judgment phase of this lens. And I was like, I am a fucking bitch, right? This is what's dropping into my field. You're a fucking bitch. Like you're judging people all the time. Now, granted, I don't see myself this way. Okay. Like when I do my work and I step in and you come to me with stuff, I'm not judging you. I don't judge you on your love life. I don't judge you on how you show up in the world. I don't judge you on the belief systems you have. But apparently I fucking judge those connected to the earth and I'm judging those in their full form and freedom. I'm judging people fucking everywhere. Like I was watching some couples and I'm like, why is he with that girl? Like I'm fucking judging everybody. And I'm like, oh my God, I am a fucking bitch. I'm judging the bodies of people. Grant, I'm not in my purity of light form yet. Like I am not in the body that I desire to be. Am I moving through this? Yes, I am. And I'm watching it transform every day. And every action I take moves energy through my body. Like my body is different today than it was on Saturday when I left my house. Okay. It's just different. Releasing of energy, right? Energy is a real thing, guys. And although we have a physical form to move stuff through, we also have an energetic body around us that is creating an energetic form. If you desire to move something or change something in your life, doing the energy work is one of the key things as well as moving the body. So I'm fucking judging everybody. And I'm like, oh my God, who the fuck are you? Like, this is the conversation I'm having within myself. Who the fuck are you? Who are you to step into this space and judge all these people? And I didn't understand this connection until I got out of this. Okay. So I'm in the darkness shit. And I'm like, you need to go fucking lay down again. You need to go get this shit out of you. So I lay down again. I'm watching all these times I'm judging. You feel the vibrations of the music on the floor, guys. Like you cannot, okay. So this is like drumming, flute, guitar, the vocals run through the earth. Literally the shallow was moving. Okay. When the people started dancing, you're like, boom, boom, boom. And for those of you guys watching the video, you're getting this in dynamic because I'm making the movement, but it's like boom, boom, boom. Like it's like intense, right? And I love the beat of music. I love the music running through my soul. It is me as I am it. Okay. And I say that out loud. So me not being able to go and experience it in the purity of form was also fucking kicking my ass. Because I was like, I want to go dance. I want to go express myself, but I couldn't move. Like I couldn't get there. I couldn't. There was no way I could go over there. No way. So I'm laying on my side in fetal position. The adventure of offering kept coming up. It would be like it would come up through my throat and then it would stop. And it would come up through my throat. And I'm like, I'm ready to let this go. I'm ready. Like, cause all I kept seeing was these visions of life and this literal darkness that lives within me. Now, guys, I would not consciously have known this. Okay. Like there's a reason why you are called to ayahuasca, to move through trauma, to move through, it goes to the root of it. Like I don't know how this drug, or we'll call it a medicine, it's not a drug, it's a medicine because it comes from the plant earth. It's actually medicinal and it makes so much sense in its medicine terms. So we can just X out that conversation I just had a second ago. This medicine, because it goes into the body to pull out the illness in us, to pull out the shadow in us that is not in alignment with our light. That's its job. Okay, that's who she is. You know, it was so funny. Like after the ceremony, not even actually in this time span of my shadow work, I was thinking about this, going, I wonder what the first person who discovered ayahuasca and actually brought it into their form felt, right? Nobody had heard of this, but I actually then dropped back into that and went, no, they knew. It was a him. He knew when he saw this plant, he had given the vision and the message of what this plant was going to bring to the earth and what was the plant was going to bring to humans. So he knew in this experience. And it was so fun to ask a question and get an answer, to ask a question and get an answer. Now, it wasn't fun in my darkness. I was in the shadow. So I can't remember off the top of my head what else I was working through, but this was probably a few hours, guys. Okay. Like I was in this for a few hours, no time awareness, no time span. All I remember thinking about was like, I need to go to sleep. This has to get out of me. Can I please puke? Like I almost called for help just so that they can show me how to get this out of my body. Okay. Like that's where I was. So in this experience too, I kept thinking, I'm never fucking doing this again. This is never happening. This is not my medicine. This isn't for me. I can't believe I'm here. What the fuck? All this beautiful shit. None of this is beautiful, right? This is literally what I was thinking about in the middle of this thing. And there came a point in time through all of this experience, which is interesting. My twin flame energy didn't show up in here, which I'm actually surprised about. Just thinking about this right now, coming through, but that's okay. And I'm super happy about all the things that happened. I just kept getting this visualization of me, completely not me. Almost like, you know, in the Lord of the Rings, like Golem. Think about Golem covered in black tar, okay? Dripping off of him in black tar, crawling out. Okay, this was the visual I got of this entity fucking crawling out in black tar on the ground. And it was almost like I was in it, but it also was like a part of me that I was letting go. So I could go into both those mechanisms and seeing it, that it was me escaping, right? Getting out in the freedom of, but it also was the part of me that I was letting go and that was leaving my body. And at this point in time, I just kept hearing, let go, let go, let go, let go. And there's so many times in my life where I haven't let go, where I've kept control, where I kept trying and I kept trying and I kept trying to hold on. And I dropped into this and I went, I'm ready. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to get it out. I still can't go to the bathroom. I tried again because I was like you feel it in the gut. Like, and I don't have a reference point to this normally because I don't live here in gut issues. Normally I don't. And it's interesting because I stopped alcohol over 7 weeks ago and drinking. But every time I would drink, it would like be shards of glass would come into my stomach. And through this experience, I understand why, because of the poison that it was bringing into my body, but I was using it as a crutch to diminish all of this without bringing it to the surface. I know why I wasn't ready for ayahuasca before this point in time. I know why it aligned now. in the purity of its light moving through me, I'm getting the taste of it back in my mouth, which is interesting right now at this very moment of time. As I talk about this, it was healing my gut. And it was bringing it up for me to recognize that all of the energy that I held there was there in my body. And you can even see my stomach has changed today in the way that because I look at myself in the mirror every day to honor my body, and it's changed. My body's changed. So I'm still feeling this in my gut. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready, and the puking feeling left, like that wasn't happening. And I was like, you need to go up and dance. I'm still like not in my body. Like I can't, like, I'm dizzy still, but they're like, you need to get up and dance. So I trusted like I normally do. And I went, okay, I'm going to get up and dance. The song though, that got me up was this deep rooted bass guitar Latin song, upbeat movement. I'm like, I've danced this before. I know it. I've danced this before. I know it. And I stood up and I just like literally started hopping, like just small little paces, like you're feeling the music out and you're like feeling it and you're like, I feel this. I feel this beat moving through me. I feel this, right? And I can't really stand in my body yet. Like I'm still here. So I'm trying to like stay standing. And then I start hearing them sing. And I know all the words, right, guys? Like I've never sang these songs before in my life. I know all the words. I've never heard this music before in this life, but I'm like, I could sing it. And people are looking at me like, does she know? Like, does she listen to this before? Does she know all the words? And they're in their fucking zones. So my judgment dynamic is still showing up about watching people dance, watching them express themselves. What the fuck are they doing over there? Why did that guy just knock me? Right? All these people are out of their body in their own experiences. And I want to talk to someone. And you don't talk during this ayahuasca experience unless you need someone to talk to because you're in a help mechanism. Everybody's in their own zone. And I realize that I have a challenge doing the work internally sometimes on myself in quietness. This won't happen again the next time around. I already know, because this was part of this time to see this light, to see this moving. Whew, I'm starting to bring the energy back into my gut. I can feel it now. I'm going to clear it after we're done this. It'll clear. So I start to move, and then I start to let myself go in the dance. And I go and I go and I just follow and I go. And then the community comes together. We all hold hands and we go into the middle of the circle. Now there's a fire in the middle. Every single element was at play. Okay. We had rain all night long. The fire burned all night. It was part of the ceremony. You could feel the wind coming in. The shallow was open, right? You could feel the wind coming in. Like we were in the middle of the jungle, guys, in this beautiful, we weren't in a building. We were in the middle of the jungle in a shala, like just so beautiful. You heard all the birds, you heard all the toads, you heard all the noises all night long, every single noise. And then you grounded in the earth. So funny. I'm just thinking about how this process went. So I dance, and I dance like I am in this experience of letting go. I dance to celebrate me. I dance to celebrate all of us. Then the chief's son sits down and he starts to play. And I was like, I fucking know this. And I knew every song he played. And I danced and I danced. And at times I sat down around the fire and I honored and I watched and I honored. And there was one song that he sang on his own that I felt like he called into my heart, and that he called me to sing with him. And I sang with him through this song across the room in this experience. And I could still feel the energy in my hand, which is so funny. In this experience, I danced, and then I got up, I tried to go to the bathroom again, didn't happen. I came back in and I danced some more. And then I moved with the beat the rest of the night. They called for the third ceremony. At the time, I couldn't handle it, but I knew I needed to do it again. So once he finished playing, he took a bit of time and then he stepped up to do the third ceremony, and I went over, and he like literally smiled at me. And because I'm the only one in the room that has never done this before, right? And he could feel me. He saw me dancing. He felt me through the music. He saw me singing. He saw me connecting. He knew I had been through an experience, and he saw the light in me. And so when I sat down for the third time, he just shook his head, and he knew, right? And he gave me the experience, and I honored it, stepped in, and I was ready. Part of my mind was like, we don't want to do this again. We're going to go back. And the other part was like, you need to do this. So it came to a point in the music where I was like, okay, I need to go sit down again. Half an hour, 45 minutes, I don't know, whatever time span it was. And I dropped back into this place that I was. I sort of laid down and I just started moving through an energy, and the shadow never came back. I felt the connection of things. The album I'm supposed to create dropped in. So the album's going to be called Becoming in the Jungle. And I got the graphics. I know the tone of the album. I know what songs are, like, at least 3 songs dropped in. I know I'm supposed to have, like, when you create an album, well, what I'm going to be creating, each of the parts are going to drop in separately, right? Because we don't have a studio here and I can't be it all at the same time. It'll be the drum. I'm supposed to use my rattle. I'm supposed to sing in 2 separate singing. So the chanting part and then the accompany of the chanting part. And then I feel like I'm supposed to get another drum, like the one you can sit on and beat to, instead of my drum that I use my mallet with. So it'll be 5 dynamics of showing up for one song. I got it all there. And as I sat there, I couldn't get up to close the ceremony with the people, but I closed it from where I sat because the sun was coming up. And it was about 5:30 that we ended and sat back in our circles. And I was still floating at 5:30, trying to stay concentrated on what was going on, was floating in and out of the experience, but forever changed. So life looked different the next day. Life felt different the next day. We had some breakfast, debriefed. I bought this beautiful set of earrings they're made personally from the Bri tribe. And I'm like, I will get another set with the bracelets and stuff. Like, I will move through that dynamic the next time they're around. I believe they're back at the end of July. They're doing a longer retreat experience, which I'm being called to take part in. Even though in session 2, I was like, I will never do ayahuasca again. I will do ayahuasca again because of the fact that I know I need to. It's time for me to go into the depths of the darkness inside of me and move it out. It's time for me to liberate the pathways in my world, my ancestral patterns, the lineage in my life, to liberate it through using this plant medicine as a gift, right? And seeing it as that, even though I was like, fuck this. I'm never doing, like, literally having this conversation with myself. I'm literally never doing this again. And then I liberated, and then I felt, and I understand why most people are like you chose the most beautiful experience to come into, because this tribe brought an energy. I know I've been a part of this tribe in one of my past lives. I was this music as the music was me, and I could feel it moving through my body, right? So at one point in time after dancing, I couldn't find my shoes. You leave your shoes at the front of the shala, right? To greet, you're walking in bare feet all night. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go get my feet dirty. I'm walking into the dry toilet with no shoes on. And just so you guys know, the dry toilet is open. Okay. So, like, you have a door, just the door there, but it's open to the jungle. So you're literally on the toilet looking out at jungle. And it's an outhouse. Okay. They call it a dry toilet for eco-friendly reasons, to uphold a certain standard, but it is literally a dry toilet. And I was like, fuck it. I'm grounded in the earth. I'm walking bare feet. So that's where the whole earth experience dropped in, and my judgment of others left. So many people came up to me and hugged me later. They were like, I was watching your experience. Like, wow, like, what a beautiful opening. And I was like, dude, were you watching me in the fucking darkness over there? Like, I was in that. And I could feel, though, the connection I had to the purity of the people, and really understand, like, we may judge some people that are all airy fairy, all in their woo woo, in their ceremonial clothes moving through. I understand the dynamics of ceremony now. I understand what the purity of this moves through. I understand what this is. All night long, we moved together. We experienced together. We healed together. We worked together as a unity, each one in their own experience. Some people needing help, others not needing it at all. Each of us moved through this experience. By the end, I forgave the guy who sat beside me, who fucking dominated my space, especially in my shadow part. I was like, get out of my energy, right? But I was in the depths of this fucked upness at the time, that I was like, everything was irritating me because I was irritated, right? I couldn't believe this was happening, this mechanism, this movement through my body. Just such a cool experience in general. So we close out the ceremony, have some breakfast. The 2 girls that I came with, we went for a walk down to meet this tree in the jungle. I shouldn't have been walking it because of the fact I was in flip-flops and it rained all night. Guys, if you've never hiked in Costa Rica in rainy season, like you slide everywhere. I'm surprised I'm actually didn't fall off the fucking mountain. Okay, let's just put it that way. But I didn't. So I have this picture of me at this tree after this experience that I'll be posting on Instagram with some insights as the week progresses, wherever it drops in, where I'm being served to call it forward. But I'm really, I dropped in last night to, so I am a poet apparently. And I was told that I need to own my poet. At the beginning of the ayahuasca ceremony, I owned the fact that I was a musician. And there's a couple other dynamics that I'm owning in my life to the purity of my light. I would never have thought I was a poet. So remember, poetry is subjective. But this dropped into my field that I'm supposed to share with you guys today as to what I felt coming out of this experience and what was happening for me last night as I dropped back in to this experience. I'm going to share this with you guys in a second, but I really want you to reference. So we went to the tree and we decided to leave after that. So it's about 8:00 in the morning. We decide to go. So we drive back. We're talking about what we went through, our experience. I get dropped back off here. Now, I haven't slept. I just ate some fruit. That's all I was called to this morning. Oh, by the way, after we came out of ceremony, my body released. Everything came out, not in a way of offering through my mouth, but in a way of another way. I let it all go. And then my stomach went back to normal. And I was like, wow. And it was like a release. And I know this is going to be graphic, but that it was like unending. It just came. Remember, I hadn't eaten in 12 hours, right? It just came out and out and out of me. And I went, thank you. I was ready to let go, right? And honoring the body. And then I was like, whew. So it felt like I was back into this landscape. I got home, I had a shower, decided to clean some stuff up, move through that. I ate a banana. That was all that I was called to. I am still like almost dizzy in this space of dizziness. And I knew I needed to sleep, but I wasn't tired yet. I was still reveling in the energy of all this. And you know what was so interesting is that I didn't remember the naive energy? I had people coming up to me after to go, wow, to have the chief's son bless you but at the beginning of the ceremony, like, girl, like that is potent. And I had no reference point to any of this. None. Remember, I'm a naive little girl in this room looking around going, should I be here? Like, that's really what it was. And now I'm like, I am that. That is me. That is a part of me. That is who I am. That is what I am all about. Like, that is a purity of that. But I didn't realize the potency of that. And I didn't realize the potency of him and I singing together. And I didn't realize the potency of being in the energy of how they showed up in their music ability. Yesterday, I went online. His album, he's got an album on Spotify, which I'm going to link up in the show notes if you choose to listen to it. Now, remember, it's not in English. It's all in their tribal music, and it's rooted in that. But if you want to go have literally, I play one of the songs and I go back. Like my whole body goes back in, which is really cool that it's so integrated in there for me. And he's got 50,000 followers on Instagram. People know him. So for me to have this intimate experience with him, I was like, okay, now I understand why everyone was like, here I am seeing him as a man who's fulfilling his purpose in life. And people see him as a deity on a platform as they hold that. And it's just such an interesting dynamic. And is that him? Yeah, it is. But I felt the connection deep rooted of the human to human, right? And not that I was like there. And I feel like if I meet him again, our experience is going to change and be different in the dynamic. So it's just so cool to see that. So I'm going to link up his album on Spotify in the show notes for you to feel that and understand that. But I got home. About 9:30 went to sleep, slept for 3 hours and heard the cat outside needing to come in and eat. So I brought her in to eat, but I'm fucking exhausted. Like, I'm done. I'm going through these crazy ass dreams while I'm sleeping. Luckily I could sleep. I let her in and I fell back asleep by accident. Then I woke up and went, oh my God, I got to let her back out. Let her back out. I think it'd been like a half an hour. Let her back out, went back to sleep for another 3 hours and then got up. It was like 4:00. And I was like, you need to get up. Because if you keep sleeping, you're going to fuck things up in your circadian rhythm. You need to get up. Groggy as fuck, got up, started doing some work, had to take out the garbage. I needed to eat something. So I started moving through that, still dazed in my work, started doing laundry, all the things. I was directed to get a post up on Instagram, to send out another email about this program that I had on special till this morning and all this stuff, right? And that was the only work I did. And then I fell into a rhythm. I was told to watch a movie, so I dropped into that for a little bit. Just grounding in the energy here, kept going back in and out of the experience. Went onto Instagram, started listening to their album a little bit to feel it, and then this dropped through. So it's pouring rain here. I'm literally in the dark in candlelight. I have a new book that I'm reading. I was in and out of that, but this dropped in. So here's the poem that was moved through me. The rain poured around me as I celebrated the release. The clearing of the veil I never knew existed, but my soul called for in remembrance. The heart of Mother Earth played out in my ear as I connected deeper into my essence. The energy I never knew existed, yet like a whisper, it bathed me in the sunlight. The dawning of a new era, an era of purity of connection and exemplified truth, the universal truth. The buzzing of the bees, the sacrifice of the plants for our lives to be remembered. The muddy footprints tell a story of unfolding, discovery, and going into the limits of the mind to expand into the truth of all. The potency of the earth calling out as it regains its purity of light. I sat in silence, in candlelight, honoring the clearing. I sat in silence, expanding my heart and the understanding of this new beat. I am a poet of magical mysteries and truth. I am the calling of the wind, the intensity of the fire, the flow and movement of water, and the grounding of earth. I am a musician, a channeler of divine flow and wisdom through song. I am a woman, embodied in floral essence, a rhythm of scarlet roses and bloody thorns move through me. The dark mystic and lightened priestess is a calling within. She is me. I am her. As I let go, she surrenders too. Her essence is just that, a breath of beginning and closure, of shadow and light. As I dance, she moves with me, calling out, let go, and I do. I trust and move, dropping in deeper. The song opens up my heart and my throat embodies the vibration of all. I let go more, surrendering into all that is. And that's as far as I got. Non-edited. I haven't reworked it. I haven't gone into that. That is the purity and the rawness of what I felt happen for me. And as you see that I say, I'm the flower essence, the scarlet rose, and the bloody thorns. And in that vibration, I see this beautiful rose covered in blood and covered in light as she blossoms and expands. And it's a representation of the work that I did over the last 36 hours in my field and the work yet to come. So, why I share all this with you in the movement of is that I want you to really remember that one choice can change your life. One choice in alignment that you may not even know the answers to. You may have no clue how it's going to show up. You may not even know anything. But that one choice can change your life. So I'm urging you today to consider, what is the choice needed in your life right now to move through? And if you're already in it, amazing. But if you are avoiding it, or you are pretending it's not there, or you are running away from it, what if? What if your whole life can change because you just said yes once? Yes, once, not knowing and being naive, like a young little girl in a room full of people, looking around. Like I'm burping right now, which is interesting because it's still moving through me, of course. One young girl in a room full of people looking around going, I don't fit in here. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. This isn't my thing. Like I'm not, everyone's in these beautiful celebration garbs. They're in ceremony. I'm not in that. But what if one choice can change your life?